I'm getting my second coat of lightweight joint compound on all the seams and corners and screw heads, and I realized that I think down here there's supposed to be an outlet. I've got one right there on that wall. I've got one on that wall. I know I have one somewhere on this wall, but I don't know where. And I think I covered it up and forgot to cut it out. We're getting it taped and mudded. I just got the corners down over here. I'm gonna do a corner bead right here. All right, installing bull-nose corner bead on this corner right here of the pantry. So what I need to do is just first cut it to size, and put it on there, and come up here and just cut it right there. So I'm gonna mark that. And I'm gonna raise it up just a little bit because I don't want it all the way on the floor. I'm actually gonna cut these corners. I like to do it this way. So I don't have those sharp corners popping. That looks good. Okay. So the next one I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put mud on both sides of this, all the way down, a pretty thick coat of it, and then lay this in there. And as you can see, there's holes in this. See all those holes? So it'll lay in the bed of mud, push it in, let the mud seep through all those holes. That'll hold it in. Clear it down with the knife, get it nice and smooth, and let that dry and hold it, and then put your multiple coats on top of that, and that'll hold it in place. The joint compound has a little bit of I guess glue or adhesive in it that will help hold everything nice and tight. I'll put it on nice and thick, all the way down. It does take up a lot of mud, whole pan almost. Okay. Okay, so that's sitting on there. Now I'm gonna press it in. I'm gonna raise this up a little bit. Go. Push it in. You can see it squeezing out of the holes there. See, I didn't get enough on that side. Okay, now we're gonna come back with more mud on top of it. These corner beads do take a lot of mud. Now see, I'm not worried about this here because I can take my knife after that dries, and that will just pop right off of there. And this is just the first coat. We'll put multiple coats of the lighter weight joint compound on top of that. Oh, this is exactly one pan of mud. Okay, good first coat. The taping and the first coat of mud, corner bead is all done. Yeah, that was a lot, but it's done. And we're ready for the second coat now of the lightweight joint compound.
So what's the difference between the blue mud and the green mud?
The green mud is for taping. It's got a little bit of adhesive in it, I guess, and it's stronger, it's harder, heavier, so it'll hold that tape better. The blue stuff that you're gonna use now for the second coat is goes on top of the second and third and possibly fourth coats if you need. It's lighter weight, so it sands way easier than the green stuff. So you want to put the blue stuff over the green stuff.
Okay, cool.
Close. That's for Paul Mac up there. Bye.
Adios.
Makayla mudding away. Yeah, Makayla? In her loft room here. Looking good. We're getting close. I'm gonna tackle the high wall here, the upper part of the high wall. All right, I'm getting my second coat of lightweight joint compound on all the seams and corners and screw heads, and I realized that I think down here, there's supposed to be an outlet. I've got one right there on that wall. I've got one on that wall. I know I have one somewhere on this wall, but I don't know where. And I think I covered it up and forgot to cut it out. So I'm gonna go refer to the videos and see where that outlet's at and cut it out. Jeez, it's dark in here. Oh. Whoa, we've got lights. I'm having to watch the video. Light. Find the outlet. The electricians were here, and we have behind the drywall switch. Yes, we have power and we are wired up. Outlets for television. Which will mount to the wall. That's the right room now, so come on, turn. Here, and then the coaxial I don't remember exactly this video. We gotta, even though we're not get the other wall. Have anything corded, but all right, so hurry up. In the future, if I ever needed to, I can utilize that. And then another outlet down below. And we got our main switch override. There it is, right there. Is a power. Oh, it's hard to see, but it's right there in the corner. One stud in on the right side of that stud. All right, cool. I can go cut it. Okay, so according to the video, my outlet is about right there. It's on that stud on the right side of it there. All right, so I know all my outlets are about 14 inches up off the ground. So I just need to mark 14, and they're a couple inches tall, and it's on the right side of the stud. So the stud is right where these screw marks are, or where the screws are. So that's my stud, center. So that outlet box is probably like that. So we'll just cut a little pilot hole in there and see what we can see. All right, hopefully I got it. And I did. There's wires. Oh man. It's a good thing I document all this so I can go back and look at the videos to see what happened if I need to. All right. Boy, I'm glad I remembered that. That would have been, I think, a bit of a problem. That looks cool. The mudding is finally done. Man, did I go through a lot of mud. But I'm glad that's over. So now it's time to get sand in this thing. That's a lot of drywall. A lot more drywall than I anticipated. At least a lot more mud than I anticipated. But it's finally done. And now it's time to start sanding. All right, so I got 3 different types of sanders here. I got my hand sander, where you just strap in the sandpaper. Now this is great. It's a big surface area to get it sanded, and it works well. But then I have also this pole sander. So this is the same thing. You just strap the pieces in there, put it on this pole, extension pole. This is great for the initial sanding of like knocking down all of those high spots and whatnot, and big surface areas. I don't like doing it for the corners or on the edges or anything like that, because it's too gets out of control. Especially if it flips over, it can notch and gouge out some of the softer spots of the mud. So I don't use this one as often, but it will be good for big surface areas. And then we have the sanding sponge. So this is our sanding block, and this one's got that angle on it. I like that. This is perfect for like my finished coat that I'm sanding with the corners, that I can get into the corner, both the ceiling and the wall corners, and get to one side of it without gouging out the other side and creating a groove on the opposite side. Some of these other sanders, like this hand sander here, the paper wraps around the sides like that. And there, what happens is you're on the one corner, well, it's gonna sand the opposite corner also and create a groove about that width. So having an angled sander like this, a sponge sander, and you can feel every little bit when you're using this because it's spongy, so you can get pretty tight detail in that corner and keep it nice and clean and tight. So I really like the sponge sander. So first I'll show you the pole sander, how easy this is to work on these walls. And you see that? I just gouged out because I went too fast and it flipped up. You gotta be super careful. See how it flipped there? You gotta just make sure it's the right angle. You definitely get a lot more leverage with the pole, but it just doesn't, I don't know, I just don't feel that comfortable with it. Yeah, I like using it for knocking down all the rough stuff, but not for my finish sanding. So here you can see a corner that's not sanded yet. When using the hand sander like this with the edge on it, for one, it's much more difficult to get in there. And then 2, you can see how on this side now, it dug out a groove that I'm up to fix now. Okay, so here's an example of a corner where I'm gonna use the sanding sponge with that angle on it to get the corner. So here I got some raised areas. I just wanna get this side without grooving out the other side. So then I come back on the other side and get that. And that makes for a nice, clean, tight corner. All right. I am finally done. Sanding is all done. And for some reason, no one wanted to help me. I don't know why. It was a lot of work though. But it's finally done, and now we can start priming and painting tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed already, so that way you can stay up to date on all the videos that we got coming out in the future to get this Barndominium done and building this ranch from scratch. So, until next time, keep living the dream.